I'm a massive Star Wars fan, generally speaking. I grew up watching the original trilogy, the Clone Wars, the prequels, and I actually do love a fair amount of the Disney stuff as well. However, in recent years, I feel that the full potential of the Star Wars brand just isn't being realised. Both The Mandalorian and Andor have shown the fans that Star Wars can be more than the space opera epic it once was. A neo-western, an intense espionage thriller, these shows were genre-defying, and they proved that there can be something for everyone in Star Wars. We could have a light-hearted romance set on the beautiful planet of Naboo, a violent R-rated Tarantino-style story following the low lives of the Coruscant underworld, even an edgy sci-fi horror. I'm still waiting on that Death Troopers movie. Or perhaps a buddy comedy. And that's what I want to talk about today. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know that a Star Wars parody isn't exactly an entirely unique concept. I mean, Spaceballs, Robot Chicken, even more niche spoofs like the Oral Noughts Jedi Party web series, a personal favourite of mine, well worth checking out if you haven't already. They've all proved time and time again that Star Wars blends brilliantly with comedy. But of all the untapped material in the Star Wars Extended Universe back catalogue, there's perhaps one story that I think can translate perfectly to the big screen. Tag and Bink are dead. Tag and Bink are Dead is a short-run comic series from 2001 published by Dark Horse Comics, following two hapless and fairly cowardly rebel soldiers. The two issues follow the characters through the background of the original trilogy, and it's implied that their actions are inadvertently responsible for a lot of the big events from the Star Wars films. I don't know about you, but I've always thought that this was such a cool premise, and I think what makes Tag and Bink so funny is that the characters just seem like two regular guys who've stumbled into this Star Wars universe and are completely oblivious to this epic saga unfolding around them. The name Tag and Bink are Dead is a reference to the play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead by Tom Stoppard, which is itself a satirical spoof of Shakespeare's Hamlet, following two minor characters from the original play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and their exploits behind the scenes of the main storyline. I think you can probably see the similarities here. On a semi-unrelated note, it has been rumoured that Tom Stoppard co-wrote some of Revenge of the Sith with George Lucas. I'm not sure if anybody's 100% verified this, as ultimately he is uncredited in the film, but it's pretty cool if it's true. But enough about the history of Tag and Bink. I want to talk about my concept for a Tag and Bink movie, because this premise is just too damn good to leave as a modest comic book parody. Tag and Bink were meant to make a live-action appearance in Solo, but sadly they were cut from the film, and honestly, these guys need their own story. They need to be front and centre in their own feature film. But Jacob, who on earth has the satirical wit and comedic genius to pull off a decent, entertaining, and most importantly, actually funny Tag and Bink movie? The answer's actually pretty simple. It's Key Peele. Okay, video over. No, wait a minute. If you don't know who Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele are, I mean, I'm gonna assume you've been living under a rock for the past 10 years, because they are, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the greatest comedy duos, possibly of all time, certainly of the last decade. If you haven't seen their sketch show on Comedy Central, just watch it, trust me. But their talent doesn't stop at sketch comedy. In 2017, Jordan Peele shook the world with his satirical horror and directorial debut, Get Out. I could talk for hours about how brilliant this film is, but look, it's amazing. It really proved the true extent of Peele's writing abilities. He's since released two more satirical horrors in the same vein as Get Out in Us, and most recently Nope. Both absolute gems too. I'm in the minority here, but I think Nope might be my favourite. Honestly, I'd highly recommend all three. If you haven't seen them, you won't be disappointed. But I digress. The point is, no longer do Peele's fans see him as one half of a cleverly hilarious comedy act, but now as a master of satire and storytelling. He now has 3 superb feature films under his belt. 4 if you count Keanu, which brings me to my next point. Key and Peele's movie Keanu is actually a very similar concept to the first issue of Tag and Bink. 2 ordinary guys, not especially heroic or brave, thrown into a dangerous situation and forced to ingratiate themselves with the bad guys. In a lot of ways, it's an incredibly similar premise. And it's a genuinely funny film. The concept works. Granted, it's not one of my favourites, but this guy just cracks me up. Keegan-Michael Key is one of the naturally funniest actors around today. He tends to play sort of bit parts in films like Wonka and Why Him, but honestly, he steals the show every scene he's in. He even got fucking Walter White to lose it on set. I think you know what I'm trying to say. Tag and Bink written by and starring Key Peele. For me, this is a no-brainer. Now, I'm not too sure if Key Peele are complete and utter Star Wars geeks. I'm sure they're fans. They've done a Star Wars sketch before, and Keegan-Michael Key was in that Galaxy's Edge video not too long ago. But honestly, even if they don't know the ins and outs of the Star Wars universe, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau could easily be brought on board as a co-director, co-writer. I think they'd probably jump at a project like this. I mean, Tag Bink has so much potential. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they're very funny guys. They know this stuff. It's their bread and butter. They could do this very, very easily and very successfully as well. And this film wouldn't have to be an all-out comedy. It wouldn't have to be sort of a complete spoof. Much like the comics, a lot of the jokes would rely on the audience being Star Wars fans and knowing the source material. I think it'd be really fun to see some post-production trickery, where we see some original footage from episodes 4, 5, and 6, with Key Peele kind of superimposed into the background of the scenes. Like maybe they're buying drinks at Mos Eisley Cantina's bar, or they're at Jabba's party on his sail barge, just before everything's kicking off, and they kind of always find themselves just right in the center of these ridiculous situations that they have to then escape from. I think it's such a good premise. It does write itself. What could this film look like though? How could we pitch this as a viable Star Wars project? Well, as a Photoshop enthusiast, I thought the best way to show you my vision would be to create a concept poster for this film. So I thought I'd have a go at creating a theatrical poster for Tag Bink the movie starring Key Peele. So let's go. Before we get into this, I just want to say I'm not a pro graphic designer or anything. I have been using Photoshop for years, but I'm self-taught, so it's not going to be Hollywood level. So I thought I'd just show you kind of a time lapse of the process. As you can see, I'm just kind of grabbing random assets from Google Images. Yeah, a lot of the assets aren't high res, but it's a fun concept poster, so you know. The funniest bits were putting Key Peele's heads on the stormtroopers. I think I got it kind of right. I mean, the sizing is definitely a little off, but it's just about there. It's just about there. If you guys don't know, Tag Bink kind of dress up as stormtroopers. They're rebel soldiers in the comics, but they Luke and Han it and disguise themselves as stormtroopers, and it gets them into more trouble. That's the thing about Tag Bink. You know, they escape one situation, and it just ends up landing them right back in it. So it really does write itself. It's such a great series. And boom, this is the finished poster. I'm pretty pleased with it. Obviously, it's definitely not Disney level, but I think it does the job. You know, for a concept poster, gets the point across. The thing I'm most happy with is it gets the mood. It gets the mood and the feel of the film across. You know, the inclusion of the Vader sucks. You know, it really sort of adds to that buddy comedy vibe. I just love Keegan-Michael Key's face in this picture. Raised eyebrow. I kind of tried to edit Jordan's face in the same kind of way, so they're both kind of looking a little bit concerned. I didn't want to include too many other characters. I think Boba Fett and Darth Vader are pretty good characters to have there. In the comics, they do come across both characters, so that's accurate, I suppose. Yeah, so I think it gets the mood across while giving it that excitement of a classic Star Wars poster, you know, lightsabers, lasers, explosions, all that good stuff. And there we have it, guys. That is my concept / pitch for Tag Bink the movie, starring Key Peele. When this idea popped into my head, I thought it was such an obvious concept. A Key Peele Star Wars movie. And the Tag Bink premise just fits them so well. So what's not to love? I hope you did enjoy this video, guys. This turned out way longer than I expected, so thanks for sticking with it. I'll see if I can trim a bit down in the edit. I've really enjoyed making this kind of concept video, so if you liked it, please do give me a like and subscribe. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next one.